Parenting teens, is it okay to be a strict parent? Parents are always asking themselves, is it okay to be a strict parent or not? In this video, I'm going to share my opinion on the subject and share 5 tips what to avoid so your teenager doesn't always feel like they're being punished. Raising teenagers is one of the hardest jobs that you'll ever have to do. Because there's so many different opinions about parenting out there, this video will guide you through things like punishment, discipline, rewards, and consequences with more great advice. Please take a second and share a supportive and empathic parenting approach you found helpful for your teenager down in the description below. Also, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. I appreciate your support. Studies reveal that most people assume rigorous parenting generates better behaved kids. Research studies on technique consistently reveal that strict or authoritarian child raising in fact creates kids with lower self-esteem who act even worse than other children, and for that reason are generally punished extra. Number 1. Strict parenting deprives teenagers of the opportunity to develop self-discipline and responsibility. Many parents make the mistake of thinking that harsh limits are a means to an end. They believe them as temporary fixes, but they only create more problems in a children's lives because these types of parenting practices teach kids not how to regulate themselves with responsibility rather than self-discipline. These beliefs about strictness and leniency can be seen through 2 perspectives. You either have too much or too little discipline depending on your point of view on issues such as chores, bedtimes, etc., when really what is needed by any child is enough for it to flourish without feeling deprived while having boundaries so he or she can learn from mistakes. Young people want to be in control of themselves and not have limits imposed on them, so it is understandable that they reject restrictions without empathy. They see the locus of control outside of their own selves rather than wanting to behave. 2. Authoritarian parenting, limits without empathy, is based on fear. It teaches kids to bully. This type of parenting puts your child at risk of becoming a bully. Children model what they experience and learn from you. If it is a positive experience, then their behavior will model the positive parenting and vice versa. If kids do as we want because of fear, how is that any different than bullying? If the child's afraid to disobey their parents or caregivers, then will they have a chance in life without being bullied by others first? I don't think so. When children are taught from an early age not to use violence, no matter who starts it, there will be more peace throughout society where everyone can continue living happy lives instead of feeling like prey all the time. Children raised in authoritarian settings don't follow the rules when you're not around. This is a common theme in parenting, but it's also very true. Parents often have the best intentions for their children and want them to go off into adulthood with good values intact. This seems like an admirable goal at first glance. However, consider that kids who are raised strictly only do right when we're there and end up getting in more trouble. Kids and teenagers don't grow out of this type of discipline very quickly, so then you've got all these rules left over from childhood while your child has moved on into adulthood. This is what happens when we don't give the kids freedom to explore and take risks on their own time. When they're put under so much pressure from adults, it's only a matter of time before they rebel against everything that was once good about them. Number 4, strict parenting does not promote a healthy parent-child relationship. Parents who punish their children have to cut off their natural empathy for them. This makes the relationship less satisfying, not just because they're being punished, but also because they reduce attention from parents and are more difficult to manage when parenting becomes tough. Strict parenting leads to unhappy parents and children who are not able to find the love they need. As these kids get older, it becomes much harder for them to keep a job because of their lack of motivation in pleasing others. So strict parenting can lead into many other problems that may occur as your child gets older, such as irresponsible behaviors or even criminal activity. 5. Harsh discipline promotes anger and depression. Teenagers who are disciplined and punished more than supported are more likely to be depressed and angry. That's because authoritarian child rearing makes it clear to kids that part of them is not acceptable, and this causes parents to leave their children feeling alone. They are left trying to figure out how they can overcome these lesser impulses on their own. That means we end up with problems regulating ourselves. Sometimes this shows up as anger and resentment at any perceived limit or criticism, or by overreacting when we think someone's trying to tell us what to do. At other times, it surfaces in rebellious behavior against the limits that they themselves impose on themselves because of fear of not being able to handle anything else outside those boundaries. That means we have a problem regulating ourselves sometimes. There are two types: having an outburst either out of frustration or feeling like someone is telling you that they can't do something different than their current situation, and rebelling against self-imposed limitations due from fear about feeling challenged beyond them. It's not surprising that we are all struggling with this. This talk about our teens being better behaved sounds good, but in reality, being strict sabotages everything positive we do as parents and handicaps our children's efforts to develop emotional self-discipline. So what do? Positive parenting is not an either-or situation. The goal is to have a balanced approach to your parenting. Learn your teen and set realistic limits and expectations for them. Be willing to make changes and adjust. Avoid being rigid. Be empathic and understanding, at the same time provide the structure and clear expectations and limits. The goal is also to not so much make your teenager follow the rules, but more so be able to make good decisions and self-regulate their feelings and emotions. I hope you found value from this video. Please give it a like if you did. Also, please show your support by subscribing to this channel. Down in the description, please leave a comment on your thoughts about discipline. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.